You wake up. It's an ordinary day. Coffee, silence, window, and suddenly, without warning, without any apparent reason, you realize you feel nothing. Not sadness, not anxiety. Something worse. It's the emptiness of someone who looks at their own life and doesn't recognize anything of themselves in it. The house is yours. The job is yours. The kids, the partner, the responsibilities, all yours. And even so, you're standing there, holding a cup of coffee, completely absent from everything you built. You think, what is wrong with me? But that's the wrong question. The right question is more terrifying. When was the last time any of this was actually chosen by me? Think about the last decade of your life. Not the summarized version you tell at dinner parties. The real version. The honest timeline. You started working more because someone needed security. You stayed in a relationship longer than you should have because someone needed you present. You swallowed your dreams because the family needed stability. You buried your own desires because there was always someone with a more urgent need, more legitimate, more real than yours, and you showed up. You always showed up, not out of weakness. Understand this clearly. You showed up because you're capable, because you're responsible, because somewhere in your upbringing, you learned that being needed was the safest way to be loved. So you built an entire identity on top of that. You became the reliable one, the strong one, the one who fixes things, the one who doesn't complain, the one who's always available. And it worked. For years it worked. People needed you, and that filled something. There was a clear purpose to every morning. You knew exactly who you were because you knew exactly what everyone expected of you. But now, today, on this morning, with the coffee going cold in your hand, something has changed. Maybe the kids grew up. Maybe the relationship ended or grew cold. Maybe the job shifted, or you simply reached a point of quiet, invisible saturation. The trigger doesn't matter as much as the effect. The effect is this: without someone else's need to anchor you, you no longer know what you want. And this exact moment is what most people call a crisis. Let me be direct with you now. What you're living through is not a breakdown. It's a diagnosis. For years, you outsourced your identity. Not consciously, not out of malice, not out of cowardice, but you outsourced it. You let someone else's desire become your compass. You let other people's needs define your value. And in doing so, you created a comfortable and dangerous illusion. The illusion that knowing what others need from you is the same as knowing who you are. The Stoics had a precise term for what governs a human being at the most essential level: Prohairesis. The faculty of moral judgment, the capacity to choose, to want, to direct your own life from the inside out. Epictetus said that Prohairesis is the only thing that is truly ours. Not the body, not reputation, not possessions, not even relationships. The only non-negotiable thing is our capacity to judge and to choose. But what happens when you spend decades without exercising that faculty? It doesn't disappear. It atrophies. Like a muscle that goes unused, it weakens. And when you finally find yourself in a moment where you need it, when the external landscape shifts and no one is asking anything of you anymore, you reach inside yourself and find silence. That silence is frightening, and it's natural that it is. But I need you to understand something about that fear. It's not a sign that you're empty. It's a sign that you never learned to listen to what was already there. Now, why does this hurt so much? It hurts because the ego built a solid narrative, a narrative of worth based on usefulness. I am good because I am needed. I am loved because I am useful. I exist fully when someone depends on me. That narrative feels virtuous, and in some ways it is. There is genuine nobility in service, in care, in responsibility. The problem isn't serving. The problem is when serving becomes the only way you know how to exist. The Stoics called this trap the confusion between a preferred indifferent, external things that are good but not essential, and the true good. You confuse being needed, which is external and contingent, with having worth, which is internal and unconditional. And when the external changes, the entire identity trembles. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not expect Plato's ideal state to come about. Be satisfied with even the smallest step forward and consider that no small thing." He knew that inner transformation doesn't happen through revolutions. It happens through quiet renunciations, through moments when you stop performing for the audience and start acting from what is true. Reflect now. Seriously, pause here if you need to. At what moment did you let your ego take control of that decision? At what moment did you choose to be needed instead of being honest about what you actually wanted? There's no wrong answer. There's only the real one. This is where most self-help content gets it completely wrong. They reach this point and say, now discover your values. Make a list of what makes you happy. Take care of yourself. As if identity were something you recover over a productive weekend. It doesn't work that way. And you already know that. The Stoic turn is more brutal and more liberating than any list of values. It begins with a radical inversion of perspective. The crisis is not the problem. The crisis is the first honest morning of your life. Think about Epictetus, a slave, literally another human being's property, with a leg crippled by his own master, no family, no possessions, no freedom of movement, everything that can be taken from a person. He lost it or never had it to begin with. And it was precisely there, at the absolute bottom, stripped of everything the world uses to define identity, that Epictetus found something no one could touch: his faculty of judgment, his character, his inner choice. He didn't discover who he was in spite of the loss. He discovered who he was because of it. And now I need to say this to you with all the clarity this moment deserves. You may only discover who you are when you stop being useful to everyone. Not because relationships don't matter, not because caring is wrong, but because as long as there is always someone who needs you, you will always have an excuse not to face the silence of yourself. So what do you do now? Concretely, what do you actually do? The first practice is the hardest. You learn to sit with the discomfort of not knowing. The Stoics called premeditatio malorum the practice of anticipating what can be lost. But there is an inverse version of that practice that few people mention: the contemplation of emptiness as a tool for self-knowledge. You sit with the question, what would I want if there were no one to be useful to? And you don't run from it. You stay. You let the discomfort do its work. The second practice is the scrutiny of your motivations. Start asking, before every major commitment, every yes you give, am I doing this because it aligns with who I am, or because I'm afraid of what happens if I say no? The honesty required here is surgical. It will hurt. And that is exactly the point. The third practice is the most counterintuitive of all. You stop trying to find yourself and start observing yourself. Identity isn't something you uncover in a single insight. It's something that emerges when you begin making choices from the inside. Small, everyday, seemingly insignificant choices, but made by you, for you, from criteria that are yours. Over time, those patterns of choice reveal who you are more accurately than any self-declared self-knowledge ever could. And as that happens, something shifts in your relationship with the world. You begin to be useful from abundance, not from scarcity. You help because you have something to give, not because you're afraid of being unloved if you don't. You commit because you want to, not because you don't know how to say no. You are genuinely present in relationships, not as a character playing a role, and the people around you feel the difference. Here is the most beautiful Stoic irony in this entire process. When you stop building your identity on other people's approval, you become genuinely more valuable to others. Not because you've grown indifferent to them, but because now you bring something real. You bring presence, you bring choice, you bring a human being who is there because they decided to be, not because they don't know how to exist any other way. Marcus Aurelius governed the greatest empire in the known world and spent decades writing to himself in private, with no intention of ever publishing those words. Those words weren't for anyone else. They were the only way he found to remain true to himself while the entire world demanded something from him. You don't need to govern an empire to understand that. You just need to start writing, even in silence, for yourself. So let's bring together what happened here. You didn't wake up in crisis. You woke up For years, you built a functional and generous life, and that has real value. But somewhere along that construction, you confused caring with existing. You confused being needed with having identity. And when the landscape changed, the character was left without a script. This is not the end of you. It is the beginning of the most honest version of you. Epictetus lost everything and found what was non-negotiable within himself. You still have everything, but you've lost contact with what is truly yours. The way back doesn't run through comfort. It runs through silence, through scrutiny, and through the courage to choose, even when the choice is small and the world doesn't understand it. The mantra I want to leave with you today is this: I am not what others needed me to be. I am what I choose when no one is asking for anything. Say that again, not as an empty positive affirmation, as a real philosophical commitment, because the question is not who you were. The question is who you choose to be now that there is no audience. If this reached where it was supposed to reach, you feel it in your body, not just your head. Save this video. Come back to it when the pull to lose yourself in what others need is stronger than the courage to be yourself. And if you want to keep doing this work, real work, no shortcuts, no cliches, subscribe to the channel. Because the Stoic mindset doesn't exist to make you feel good. It exists to make you think more clearly about who you really are. The journey begins when you stop running from the silence.